Greetings, welcome back to PinkOddBird. Today, you guys, it's cover day. Whoa! So we are going to be making covers for the 3 books, and I believe I can probably get it in this video that we will also stitch these in. This is, like I said, probably stuff that you guys already know how to do, but just to finish out the series, I'm going to do it here on this video with you guys. So it's probably going to take me a while, so why don't I stop talking and start crafting. Let's go ahead and get started. All right, for the cover, really you can use anything that you want, anything that you have. For the sake of this trying to stick to like a scrappy type series, I have some scrap pieces of scrapbook paper that I have saved. I have this, which I don't know what it is, but I have it. It kind of is similar to like cereal box. So if you've got like a cereal box thing, you can use that. And then the last thing I have is this mailing envelope, but also I kind of considered just using paper bag, because you can do that too if you want to. Maybe I should do the paper bag for one, because the mailing envelope is very similar to this. I mean, honestly, ultimately, it kind of is all very similar anyway, and it doesn't really matter, but just to show how we can use different mediums. Okay, so let's go ahead and start with one of these. Paper bag and the scrapbook, I'm not too scrapbook paper, I'm not too worried about because I know it's tall enough, but this one, all right, so this one is just about 8.5. So that's fine. I can use this one maybe for the Traveler's Notebook one. Yeah, and I can probably even cut it down just a sliver, or I could leave it to protect the edges. Okay, cool. So I'm gonna get my scoreboard. Since this one is the Traveler's Notebook, I know it's about 8.25 by 4.25, so I'm going to score it at 4.5. And I'm going to cut this down here to get that piece off. So this is going to be my Traveler's Notebook one. For my scrapbook, for my, what am I saying? Oh, for my scrapbook, okay. So for my scrapbook paper, I think, yeah, these are big enough to use for one of my other journals. Now I want to measure it really quick to make sure that I get the right size that I want the cover to be. So why don't we do it at about 8.5 by 5.5. So I'm going to first cut these down, and then I'm going to kind of glue them together. This is not going to be the final form of these, it's just the base right now. So let's go ahead and do that. All right, so I've got this one cut down. Should be easy enough to just fold this in half. Okay. And then my last one, the paper bag. The paper bag. This one is also going to be an 8.5 by 5.5. So I'm just going to take this over to my paper trimmer really quick and cut it down. All right, so I've got this one cut down to the right size, I think. I hate when I do that, when I measure it right and then it's not right. Okay, yeah, that's the right size. It looks small, maybe because it's paper bag, but it just seems small. Okay, let's move this. With the paper bag, since this one is a little bit thinner, I'm going to take a look in my scrap box really quick, maybe one of these piles here, and take another piece of paper to slip in here so that we have a little bit more structure to this. And then of course, once we add to this, it is going to stiffen up a bit. So I'm going to take one of my lighter pieces of paper. So let me take a look in the scrap box. Okay, so I have a scrap here that I just had printed some digis on, and I'm going to just add this here. and I want to glue it kind of in place so it doesn't move. Now I can refold this. Okay, perfect. Okay, cool, cool, cool. Awesome. All right, so next, we're gonna decorate each one of these, but before I do that, I always put especially on a paper cover like this, I'm gonna add a little piece of Tyvek. I've been using a piece of mail that I got in the mail a long time ago. I've been using this same little piece, I don't know, for years. Couple years at least. So I'm just going to add a little bit to the center to reinforce it. You can use tape or fabric or muslin, you know, anything that you want. I'm just going to put a little bit of Tyvek here. That's why I always say it's really important to save specific materials, especially when you know they can be used again. I would never throw away any Tyvek that I got in the mail. All right, so there's that one. Also, with these, I'm going to go ahead and glue them together. I'm not going to cover these with fabric because we've been doing this as a paper scrap series. So for that reason, I'm going to continue on with paper scraps. Well, what I'm going to do, and if you want to follow along with me, is I'm going to kind of go back into that masterboard realm, and I'm going to start using a bunch of the scraps that I have laying around me to create the covers for these books. And then the only thing that I may or may not do, I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'll collage on the inside as well, or if I have like, I don't think I have any scrapbook pieces in my scrap piles that are big enough to cover the whole inside. So I may just collage on the inside and the outside just to keep it even Steven. All right, so I'm going to speed this part up because you kind of already seen this. You kind of already know how it goes. And I want to be able to get all this done in one video for you guys. So here we go. Okay, I think this looks pretty good for this side. Hang on. It's like you always see one little thing. It's always like one more thing. I just want to do it now before it dries because I kind of probably should have started this earlier. I forgot about dry time for you guys, but I guess in the worst case scenario, we'll use the ugly lighting. Yeah, there we go. And it's not perfectly flush to how this page is or how this cover is, but I'm not really worried about it because I'm just going to retrim it once it dries. So that's all good on that. And then I'm going to put this here. I'm trying to make sure all those under pages are covered. Or, I mean, not all those, but the page underneath is covered. Cool. Now I'm going to set it aside and let it dry. And we'll move on to the next cover. All right, so let that side dry. We'll come back and do this side, but for now, we'll let this dry. Okay, with the Traveler's Notebook one, we've got this as our cover. I made some peppermint tea, by the way. It's delicious. Okay. I'm gonna set all this space stuff aside really quick because we'll need it again when we do the other side. But for now, we will dig into this pile, which is our Spring/Alice book. And I've got my little book pages here. And now I'm going to do the same process, but just working out of the pile that associates with this book. So here we go. And of course, in the end, I'm absolutely stitching everything down as if you were surprised. You guys are probably like, Amber, why do you always have to do so many weird voices? Well, I don't know. That's just me. It's always how I have been. I think I was probably really influenced by a lot of the things I used to watch when I was a kid. Like recently, my mom sent me this video of Mel Blanc doing a bunch of, or Mel Blanc, or Mel Blanc, I don't know how you say it, doing a bunch of voices for all the characters like on Looney Tunes. And I was like, dude, I definitely was inspired by him. Because he's just really cool. Like, he did so many voices. I'm like, whoa. So, you know, like that. And then like Jim Carrey or Robin Williams. Like, I really loved watching them do like all these fun impersonations and stuff like that. So really what I was influenced a lot by that kind of stuff. So I think it's just something that I really admired, because I just think it's cool, you know, it's kind of fun. Like, you just can change your voice if you want to. And it's funny and it's cool. I think that's just kind of why I like it. Some people probably are like, no, it's cringe. It's okay if you don't like it. Cool. All right. Okay, so giving this a little look over quickly. I think it looks pretty good where it's at. I'm gonna let this one dry also, and come back to it, and then we'll start thinking about the inside of the book. Sorry, I just keep seeing little pieces. Okay, so now I think we can move on. Yeah? All right, so let's set this one aside to dry. So this is going to be interesting texture. All right, and for this one, it's going to be the Halloween book, I guess. So let me get that pile a little bit closer to me. Okay, here we go. It looks pretty good here. So I'm gonna go ahead and set this one aside and let it dry. And then once some of these are dry enough to move on to the next step, I will be back. Although really, it'll be no time for you. Okay, friends, let's check these covers out and see if they're ready to go. I bet you they are. All right, this is the first one that we did, the space book. I found this in the pile of stuff that I had pulled for this book. I kind of want to just use this for the inside cover, but like it's got the border on it, and if I cut it down, it's going to be pointless anyway because it's white paper underneath. So honestly though, it's already printed out, and I'm trying to really stick to just using what's in these piles instead of pulling out a piece of scrapbook paper that I know that I have that I could use for this. So I think maybe I'll just do it, and I will distress those borders. Or you could paint also. So I'm gonna glue this down. I guess I should make sure this is the side that I want to be. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so let's put it down. Okay, it may not be like as precise and stuff as I usually do, but trying to work within the whole objective of this series. Even though it may not be as precise or flawless as I would do it, flawlessly flawed, it does not mean that it's going to be shoddily made at all. Okay, so now I'm gonna cut it down and make it even Steven. Okay, here we go. Now I'm gonna set that one aside. Let's grab the others. All right, so the chipboardy kind of one kind of curls up because when it's like it gets wet like that, it warps the paper a little bit. However, let's see what I have in this pile that may work for the inside. I hope I get lucky like I did with the space one, but let me take a look. Okay, I found these pieces in the pile, and I'm not going to decoupage these down. I'm just gonna glue these down. Okay, so I can also use my double tape for this, which I think I might. Let me see, let me check my double tape. Okay, I have this one. I think it's a 5/8. I was hoping for a 2-inch, but no thango. Okay, so I'm gonna put some of this down. Using this, you have to be very precise, like on the first time, because there's no forgiveness like there is with glue on this. But I wanna make sure these edges stay down, and I wanna make sure I get it all the way to the edge, and to me, this tape is going to be the best option for that. Okay, here we go, you guys. This is gonna be sketchy retchy. Oh, also I want to add a little bit of, just a little bit of glue, like in between some of these, lightly, just to make sure, like the whole. I'm very confident in the tape. Oh, you know what? Also, shoot. I need to add some tape to the top of this as well to make sure it stays completely down. Okay. Hurry before the glue dries. Okay, so I just add a little bit of that tape to the top because the bottom part already has some tape here. Okay, so I need to think for a second. I made it. Okay. All right, so let's make sure we get this down nice and good. Next, let us do, actually, you know what? Will this be enough? Shoot, I think just these two are enough. That's actually darn near perfect. Okay, so I'm gonna add tape to the bottom of this one so that we ensure the bottom stays down and flush to the cover. Where's my ruler? Where did my ruler go? Perfect. This actually is perfect. And it's not as easy as the Spacebook one, but it was pretty easy and it looks even Steven. Okay, so here we go. Let me put this one down. Love it. Oh, I forgot to do glue. That's okay. Good. Very good. Okay, so now, that tape, I'm telling you guys, it's the real deal. Okay, so now, I'm gonna go ahead and set this one, or actually, you know what, I need to cut this one down too, don't I? Don't I? Okay, now I want to just kind of run this, try and get that crease back in, and I'm just going to do it slowly. Yeah, see, I forgot to put glue, so it kind of puffed up there a little bit, but it's okay. It's not the end of the world. I should just call this the Not the End of the World series. But just note to yourself, if you're doing kind of what I did, put the glue in between where the tape is, because like this side didn't really have that because I added the glue. This side I forgot to add the glue, so when I folded it, it kind of buckles here a little bit, but it's okay. All right, so I think I might still be able to give this a little stitch around the perimeter. I will have to try it slowly and see because I don't want to mess up my sewing machine. But all right, so that's cover number dos. Now let's take a look at that third one and see what we can get on the inside. So this is our Halloween book. This one is our paper bag. So let's see what we've got in the way of papers that could potentially work for the inside cover. Okay, so much like the Spacebook, I had a piece that's already printed out, and I do think that this is also going to be a little shy because of the border, but it's okay. Once again, we're just using what we've got to do this, so it'll be all right. And I think I'm going to glue this one down just with glue. Yeah. And then I'm going to give it a stitch around. and easy breezy. Now this one, I will have to let it dry a little bit. I can't take it to the machine just yet. Let's see if I can trim it down though, at least, and get it lined up and ready. Perfect. So we've got this one cut down. It's nice. It's still going to be like a pliable cover, but it is significantly thicker than a Snickers. Just kidding. It's still significantly thicker than, you know, just like having a paper bag as the cover. So I like it. I like the way this one feels. Almost kind of feels like a weird leather in a way. All right, so I'm gonna let that one dry down for a second. I'm going to take these two to my machine and stitch, and then, actually, you know what? Before I do that, I'm racing against the sunlight again, so we might have to switch to the wacky light like we did last time. Before I do that though, I think I'm gonna try and distress this, and I wanna see if the distress is going to be enough, or if I think I need to paint it actually. So let's try it and see. So for this one, I'm going to use black, obviously. Oh, not too bad. Cool. Okay. That black soot is the real deal right there. Again, I could have used fabric for this. I could have lined it with fabric. I could have made a lot of things with fabric, but this isn't a fabric-based project. We're trying to use paper, so. And we're trying to use what we have, which is making it a little bit more of a challenge. And obviously, I don't know about you guys, but for me, putting me a little bit outside of my comfort zone with my makes, because, you know, while I told you already that everything I make obviously isn't the same, but I do have certain things that I really like favor towards, and so not being able to do those is definitely something that, you know, puts you out of your element. But it's kind of like a challenge. So I guess if you look at it that way, you know. Okay, good news. I was able to successfully stitch through those. Now I want to do a little bit distressing on the outside of this as well, and just give it a little bit of a finishing touch there. Okay, I need to get the crease back there. But what was I gonna say? Oh gosh, I can't remember what I was gonna say. I love this. So the good news is that these are just single signatures, and so because of that, it's going to be really fast to sew these in. So I'm going to go ahead, and I still need to get this. I'm going to let it dry a little bit more while I'm working on these two. So I'm going to go ahead and start stitching the covers in for these two. So this is our space book, and this is our space signature, which is, woo, it's pretty big. All right, so I'm just going to run through and make sure all the pages are aligned how I want them to be, which is important because you're going to be upset if you wanted something to look a certain way and then you go to sew your signature in and you're like, no. And then there's nothing you can do because it's done. One and done. Okay, everything looks good to me. Awesome. Okay, so now I'm just going to make sure it's even Steven. And I'm gonna put my clamp on. And I have full tutorials on how I do this on my page as well. Yeah, I mean, I think I have a tutorial for most of the stuff that we've done in this series, but you know, I guess maybe it never hurts to just redo it, right? So, oh shoot, let me put the, it would help if I actually put the cover on. Can't sew the signature in without the cover. Okay, so here it is. And now I just want to make sure that the signature is placed inside of the cover in a position that I like it to be as far as the top and the bottom goes. And now I'm going to clamp it together. Okay, so looking good. Now I'm going to do this in my hands, but I implore you for the sake of safetyness to do this in the best way that you feel is safe. Don't do as I do unless you're very experienced and competent, that you can. Because we're dealing with sharp objects here, folks. Okay, so I'm getting my needle and my thread ready to go. I also have a tutorial for my pamphlet stitch that I do. Everything is available to you guys. And since this is just a single signature, I'm only going to eyeball where my holes go. I'm doing the 5-hole pamphlet stitch. And I don't really need a template for this. It's a lot of pages. All right, let's see if we can get this in one shot. We go in and up, back down. Back up. Then back over here to the top. Once again, you guys probably already know how to do this, but if you're a beginner, I do have a full detailed tutorial, I'll link it below, where I go very slowly and show you how to do this. But this is not a tutorial. This is a let's use our scraps and let's get these one and done. All right. Perfect. Then of course you want your strings on opposite sides, and make sure everything is nice and taut back here, and tie it down one way, tie it down the opposite way. I'm gonna leave this one long because maybe, I don't know, maybe you want to add something there. Cut this one down a little bit, and just like that, signature is in. Pages will continue to train themselves the more you flip through these pages. So don't worry about it too much. Oh my gosh, this feels so great. But yeah, okay, cool. So one, oh my gosh, this is so exciting. Okay, let's do this one. It's a little bit stiffer cover here. And yeah, this is the front, okay? And then let's do the same thing with this signature. Want to flip through it and make sure everything looks copacetic. All right, we've got it in. So there's one left to do. I don't know if it's dry enough yet, but if it's not, that's okay. I think you get the gist of what's to be done. Okay. Okay, so with this, I think I am going to need to reinforce this a little bit. So I'm gonna add some fabric to mine. And I think it's just because it's this type of board and then with the collaging on it. But I do think that once I get it reinforced, it'll be fine. It's not going anywhere. Okay, so there's that one. So we've got 2 done. I feel like I can go ahead and condense those piles, but I don't know if I want to add images to the fronts of these or not yet. So before I put those piles back in the scrap bin, I'm going to just wait and see if I want to do an image on the cover of these. So let's see if this one is dry. Oh, it is. Okay. I'm gonna go stitch on this one quickly and maybe we can get this one done as well. And that I think, well, I don't know. I'll see if I want to do anything to the covers of these, and then that's pretty much gonna be it. So let's go ahead and stitch on this. Okay, stitched, and I'm going to run the Distress ink over this as well. And then let's fold it. Okay, cool. I should have done this cover for the Traveler's Notebook one. I think that would be really cool. All right, last one. And then we'll think about covers. We want to leave them or add an image. And if I do put something on the covers, it's going to be something very simple and basic. And then we're going to be done. Okay. Oh my gosh, you guys, are we almost done here? Could decorate those envelopes still too, but I gotta see where we're at with this video because I don't want to make it too long for you guys. Very cool. Awesome, it's done. So we got Halloween one, we got our space one, and we have our springy / Alice one. Now I am going to do the finishing touches. Like I said, like this one I'm going to reinforce with some fabric a little bit right here. A couple pieces I need to glue down a little bit better here. Okay, you guys, so we're going to have to use the wacky lighting for a little bit because the sun's going down, the sun goes down. Okay, so let's take a look and see if we want to add anything to these covers, you guys. And if we do, we are. If we don't, these scraps are going to get condensed back down and ultimately put back into the scrap box. Although I think I am going to take out stuff that really shouldn't be in the scrap box, like printed out digis and stuff. Like, I guess maybe like, I don't know, like this could be a scrap now, I guess, because it's been partially used, but technically not really. Like this, okay, probably a scrap, but this isn't a scrap. This is like a full printed thing. So this should not go in my scrap box. So I will filter through and take out stuff that doesn't truly belong in there. And then I'll show you guys the scrap box here when we finish. You know, it was a valiant effort. We're not gonna, definitely not using everything, not in just these 3 books. But it is what it is, you know, we at least made some kind of progress. So that's the good news. Okay, so I'm going to start with the space book since it's just right here and grab this infamous pile. And let's see if there's anything I would like to add. Now, I don't mind the cover how it looks right now. I kind of like this one how it is. But maybe we can just add a few little things like just some enhancers or accents. Maybe like we have these little hearts here perhaps. I want to pick stuff that's already too similar to what's on the cover already. Okay, so for this cover, yeah, I'm not being terribly drawn to add something to this cover, but if anything, I pulled out that little quote, could go somewhere here, maybe, or I pulled out some of these words, like celestial could be a good one. and maybe just do like a little layered plate, something like that maybe. Let's try it out. Okay, so let's see if we can layer this down. Like that. And then maybe we'll take a piece of this. Like that. And then maybe we'll take a piece of this. Like that. And then we can put the word here. But let's see how it looks. We put that right here. Oh, that looks cute. I like it. I like this. Okay, so let's distress these pieces so that they tie in with the rest. So distress, distress. We'll add this one, a little distress. Wow, this whole thing using scraps. Scraps, scraps, scraps. Then I'm going to glue them down strategically. And then I think we did this one here. Do it like this. And then we'll put the word here. And if you want to add a little pizzazz, you can stitch around it, but I'm just going to let it layer like this. I already done more stitching in these books than I plan to, so let's let it be. Where's my bone folder? Oh my gosh, you guys should play like an exercising game. We have to do 10 jumping jacks every time April says, "Where's my bone folder?" Oh, I truly don't know where it's at. Oh, there it is. Okay, so let's get this down on the cover. And I think here is where I would like to have that. Sweet. Great. And then if you guys know me, then you know one of the very last things, this is crooked. No. One of the very, very last things that I will do is add my stamp. That's when the book is officially done. It's when the boss gives the final seal of approval. Very good. I love it. Okay, so that one's done. Next, now this one, I do want to grab a piece of fabric. Give me a second. I found this little scrap, and I think it'll do. Ooh. All right, so I'm going to let this dry for a second, and we'll come back and trim it down and then figure out the cover on that one. Now for the Halloween book, I do think I want to add something to the cover of this one. So let me see what I have in the pile. Okay, so here, so I do have this piece. It was something that I made like as a tag, which I kind of really like that right off the bat. And maybe to back it with this. No. No. It needs to contrast. Let me see what I've got. I've got this piece. Could put this on top. Okay, that kind of works. Okay, so that works. And we're going to take it here and glue it down. All right, so that is done. Just another one down. So the last one is back to this. I'm gonna trim this. Perfect. Yes, much better. Much better. Now cover, let me take a look at the pile. I'm not sure, but this might be a case where I actually don't have anything as far as scrap piles go. May have to leave it. I just don't see anything in this pile that's like put me on the cover. Or I leave it plain and maybe whoever gets it can put whatever they want. Or leave it. I mean, honestly, you don't... I could add a nameplate. I could do that. But I think I'm going to leave it. I also like here it says, you need to make. It's kind of cool. I think I'm going to leave it. I think I'm just going to leave it. We're just going to call it done. So we have one where we added nothing to the cover. One, we added a little word cluster. And one, we added an image. So you guys, these are the 3 books that we were able to make with our scraps. Of course, we did not finish all of the whole entire scrap box, or at least I didn't. But like I said, we were able to make some good progress and make some cool books at the same time. And I'm down with that. And I hope you guys are too. So this is going to be it for the series. And the last thing that I will do is film a flip through of each of these books in full. And then I believe I'll put them in my Etsy shop. So if anybody wanted to grab any of these, you can. I do need to get started on working on some other stuff. So I need to turn my attention in other places for now. And I think that is going to wrap it up for me for now. Be sure to stay tuned because you never know what direction this odd flock of ours is heading into. And until next time, toodaloo.